also welcome to the show and hello to our plucky studio audience. Look at them. Hey! All right, don't get too excited or your temperature will spike and then you have to go home. I'm so looking forward to just sitting down with guests, having a glass of wine. Viewers in Scotland, wine, remember that? So, who do we have on our socially distant show tonight? Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi will be here, globetrotting star Ewan McGregor. Yeah. And we'll have chat and a very special musical performance from Miley Cyrus. Truly a deserve. But joining me here in the studio, it's dancer presenter Ashley Banjo. Top comic Frank Skinner. And Strictly head judge Shirley Ballas. Oh. I'm back. Lovely to see you all. Frank, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm loving all this space. Reminds me of when I used to drink Pernod on public transport. No one within 3 rows.
And I must say, is this lockdown hair or was this hair there anyway? Don't laugh. That's just rude.
This is completely lockdown hair. I know. My son, who's 8, he does the sides, so the sides are okay. They're shy. I give him clippers. He can't reach the top. So it's the haircut with no name. I don't even know how you would describe this.
It's very literary. You look like a kind of, an eccentric man of letters.
I think I look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo if he'd lived.
And Ashley Banjo, is this nice to have a real audience? Because on Britain's Got Talent, you have that wall.
Yeah, the wall was odd at first, but it's so nice to be just in front. Can I just hear it? Can I just hear it? So nice. Hey. Love it.
And Shirley, you are walking because did you break a foot?
I broke it. I snapped my ankle in half. And this is my first time in a high heel that I'm not supposed to be in, but that's OK. It looks nice. It goes with the decor.
Yeah, it does. Are you in pain? Not now. She feels nothing, ladies and gentlemen. And tell me this, have you done any Strictly? Do you know what it's going to look like? Do you know what the vibe is? Is it going to be like this with missing seats, or is it going to be...
Well, I think it will have some partial audience. I mean, if we had...
Partial audience?
If we had this, would be absolutely amazing rather than none at all. But the rules are changing daily, so we'll have to wait and see.
OK, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Now, Shirley Ballas turns author, ladies and gentlemen. She's got a book out. It's Behind the Sequins, which is out now. And I suppose it's one of those things, isn't it? You say yes to writing a book like this, and then, I was saying to you backstage, you've lived. So what was it like, kind of piecing together all the bits of your life and putting them back together as a book?
Well, I had kept most of my life journalised, so I kept journals. So it was just and I'd sort of, like, put them away, like, in Pandora's box and didn't want to open them. And it was an 18-month write for me, and it was a difficult write, and it was even more difficult to read it back. But there are some fun moments in it and a real journey from the beginning, from the housing estate to, coming on Strictly, and just a different kind of life for me at the moment. So, yeah, it's come full circle.
Yeah, because this is an extraordinary life, and it really is your life in dance. Dance became part of your life when you were what age?
7, but 2 when I did ballet.
So 2, essentially?
And 2 when I did ballet and tap, and 7 when I started with ballroom and Latin.
Wow. And then it goes kind of all the way through, and you're world champion, and then you're an amazing teacher, and now...
And my husbands.
Well, we'll get to the husbands. Many chapters there. Actually, talking of which, I mean, the Strictly curse. Ashley, you're familiar. Everyone's familiar with the Strictly curse.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, certainly.
Yes, yes. I mean...
As curses go, it's one of the best. Tutankhamun, I think that the man was bitten by an insect that gave him a flesh-eating disease and half his face fell off. Whereas the Strictly curse... it's not as bad.
It's almost like a reward.
Well, I've been offered Strictly a few times. The last time I was offered it, my partner suggested that I went on a lads' weekend to Amsterdam instead, because there'd be less temptations.
Because, not to add fuel to the fire, because there are people going into it now and their partners might be watching this, but it's fair to say, if Shirley dances with someone, there is a high probability you'll marry them. I mean, I'm slightly exaggerating. Here's Nigel. You're only engaged to Nigel.
At 16, I got engaged to Nigel.
Oh, but you're not... Well, you could be 16. He's not 16.
He was 4 years older than me, yeah.
Oh, OK.
Still with me today, still my dear good friend and my financial advisor, so remained in my life all these years. Very nice man.
Because not to be too indiscreet, but Nigel was your first.
Yes, he was.
And it's a romantic story, Shirley.
Don't make me say.
Oh, come on, it's in the book. People will find out.
Well, it was just a first experience. We went to the Butlins holiday camp, and where him and I decided that we were in love. And so we packed up the bags and we went home. I lived with his family, and his mum was unpacking the bag and the condom wrapper fell out. And when we came home from school and work that day, she just stood with it like this. She was furious. She was 5 feet tall and she had black hair all the way up. And she looked at us like it was just the end of the world, and I was like this evil child that had slept with her son. Oh, no. And I didn't know what to say, actually. It was quite lovely.
Yeah, the big question is, why did he keep the wrapper? It's a strange souvenir.
Because we both knew, you know, both of us, it was our first experience.
Oh, so it was romantic, really.
It was.
You might have got it for Christmas.
Probably in Nigel's scrapbook. No. Dispose of wrapper.
I think you might be right.
And then you got swept off your feet by Sammy. And, like, look at Sammy. That's amazing. I love that picture. And he kind of fast-tracked your professional dance career.
He did. He was already at the top of the industry. I did ballroom with Nigel, but my heart lay in Latin, and it was really hard to leave Nigel to move on with Sammy. But it was an opportunity, and at that age, it's what I wanted. So I got whisked away off my feet with Sammy, and 6 months later, we fell in love. And within the year, we got married, because that's what you did back then.
Yeah.
It's what you did.
Get used to this. This story, it repeats.
What did Sammy do with the wrapper?
Shirley Palace, she's mad on the recycling. Yeah. She's mad on the recycling.
Bet it's on eBay. Would you sign it for me?
Then you move on to the man who gives you your ballast, Corky Ballas. Oh. Yeah, now look, who could resist Corky?
Wow.
I mean, that's, you know...
Corky.
Yeah, hello, Corky. But Corky really changed your life, didn't he?
Yeah, Corky was a chef. I thought, you know, there was a lot of pressure when I danced with Sammy, and what do you know about love? And like I said, you kind of pushed in it because you're together 24/7, 7 days a week. And then I met him. He was full of fun, and he lived in America. He was good-looking. And I think he just swept me off my feet to a point where I didn't want to dance anymore. I just wanted to see what it was like to have a real life, what I thought, again, so young. And I left Sammy. It was devastating, but I got with Corky, and 6 months after being with him, I knew I'd made a mistake and I wanted to come home. I think what I needed was a holiday. You have to balance work between that and holiday, you know what I mean? I'm serious, though.
You know, this is life lessons.
I think
if you're sitting at home and you're unhappy, try a holiday.
I think you just sometimes need a rest, and Sammy was work. And then I got with him. It was fun, but after 6 months, I knew it was...
But you moved to America, and there were some visual clues that you moved to America. I would say that is definitely an American Christmas.
Yes.
And is that all your hair, Shirley? It seems unlikely that
yes,
that all...
that's all my hair, no extensions. I'd never heard of extensions till I got on Strictly, so that's all mine, teased and coiffed and backcombed.
I mean, it's more than teased. I mean, it's tortured.
But then... It's the second worst hairstyle on tonight's show.
Early days. Early days. But then you did get Corky onto the dance floor.
Well, I did, because, like I said, I realised... I called Sammy. I said, can I come back? But he'd already got another partner, and it was such a difficult split. He said no. So I thought, I have to dance. What am I going to do? So I took Corky, who was a pro-amateur dancer, like a beginner, like what you would see on Strictly starting out, and I decided that I would train him. So I won in 1983 with Sammy, And then I went back to, like, the very first round the next year with Corky, and it took me all the way up till 1995, and then we were first and Sammy was second. So it was, it was really was a journey with the difficult, because Corky was, like I said, he dabbled a bit, but he was a chef. And he did other things in his life. He wasn't a dancer. So I had to change the whole way he thought about my industry. It was an extremely difficult journey.
Can you teach anyone to dance?
I think you can, if you've got patience.
Yeah.
A lot of
Because,
patience.
Ashley, you teach as well, don't you?
Yep.
You do. And now this is so adorable. You posted this film, and it's you teaching your daughter Rose.
Yep.
I mean, I say teaching your daughter Rose. You'll see, this is just, it's beautiful. Here we go.
I've been waiting for you to come around and tell me the truth. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, you rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town, silent bed. Pick a place to rest your head. And give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl.
Oh. I mean, there are going to be ovaries exploding all up and down the land.
To be honest, I mean, that was back when she liked me. now she just doesn't want to see me. Doesn't want to see me at all. But oh, that is literally, that is one of those moments I will never forget. It wasn't planned. We were, you know, me and the boys were in the studio, and you know, obviously Rose was there, and Warren's little girl was there, and Jordan's son was, and I was like, oh, this is the first time that we've all been together in the studio. Should we like just do a dance? And literally, I was like, just give me 5 minutes, and I just sort of like made it up, and then we recorded it, and I was just like, this is just the moment. It was just amazing.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about it, because like a month old.
It was literally to celebrate her month, like kind of not birthday, but yeah, 4 weeks of like being here, and it was her first time in the studio. Yeah, so a lovely moment.
Listen, I think we're ready to meet our first remote guest tonight. He is the star of Trainspotting, Moulin Rouge, Star Wars, and he's back on his motorbike. It's Ewan McGregor, everybody! Hey! Hello, Ewan McGregor.
Hello, that was gorgeous. That was so gorgeous.
Isn't it? It's so sweet. Now, Ewan, you've done more dancing in films than I kind of remembered.
I've done a lot of dancing over the years. I mean, in drama school, we did a lot of dancing, and then quite a lot of dancing that we did in Moulin Rouge that didn't end up... You know, we did this huge workshop for 4 months or something in Moulin Rouge, and we did quite a lot of dance sequences that didn't end up being used in the movie. So that was a lot of dancing. I did Guys and Dolls on stage in the West End.
Oh, actually, we've got a picture of you in Guys and Dolls. Check this out, Shirley.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That looks impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's very impressive. He's very sexy. He has a very sensual appeal.
He can hear you. He can hear you, Shirley.
Less impressive. It's less impressive for me, really, isn't it? Just holding a leg up. Than
Definitely a 10 from me. I've seen you dance. You're very good.
That was with Summer Strallen, who I got to dance with every night. I love doing that musical. It's so beautiful to do that.
Listen, you're back on your bike. You're on a new travel series, Long Way Up. This reunites you with Charlie Boorman. It's on Apple TV+, new episodes every Friday. And so this is the third outing.
Yeah, we did. We went in 2004. We rode from London to New York, and then in 2007 we rode from the top of Scotland to Cape Town, we called those Long Way Round and then Long Way Down. And so this is the third trip. We always thought there might be a third one in us, and when you look at a world map, we sort of went across that way and then down through the African continent. So we had the Americas were the obvious next sort of big journey, and yeah, we started looking at this route through South America.
And in terms of the 3 trips, where does this rate in terms of difficulty, in terms of endurance, and how far it pushed you?
It was very different from the other 2 because of the electric bikes. So that became sort of unique challenge. The riding probably wasn't as hard as the other 2. You know, crossing the Sahara on the Africa trip was really full on, crossing through Sudan where it was so hot, and we did a lot more off-road riding in the Africa trip. So this one was much more easy in terms of the riding, but then we had the electric bike sort of challenge thrown in there to further confuse it, if you like.
And you imagine on these trips it's going to be terrain or weather or mechanical difficulties that will stop play. But on the first one, the long way round, it was mosquitoes that stopped the whole trip.
Yes. I got quite badly bitten by some mosquitoes while I was doing number twos under a bridge.
But, like, how badly? Like, you know, were they special mosquitoes?
They were very big mosquitoes. We were in Far Eastern Russia, so they just, yes, they didn't. I don't know quite how to talk about it, Graham. It didn't look very good down there.
So there was no saddle action going to be happening?
No, I had to keep riding. We couldn't stop, so we just had to keep going. But it wasn't comfortable. I kept thinking of a twiglet. You know twiglets?
Yeah.
That's what my Willie looked like, a bit like a twiglet with all the mosquito bites.
But a really big twiglet. A really big, I mean, like a catering-sized twiglet. Yeah. Let's tell you what, we've got a clip. This is you discovering that South America, quite bumpy. Quite bumpy. Whoa! Was that you falling off?
That was me falling off, yeah. It's always, as a motorcyclist, it's always so humiliating when you come off your bike. But I do it like on television when lots of people can see it. It's so embarrassing.
Because Frank, do these boys' toys, do they appeal to you?
I'm drowning in testosterone. I learned to ride a bicycle in 2017.
What, a push bike?
That was my breakthrough on the two-wheeled vehicles.
OK.
You'd look great on a bike, Frank. Hair going in the wind. You'd look great.
Yeah, I'd look like a village doctor on his way to a pregnancy.
It's really grown on me.
But just watching that, I was getting travel sick just watching it. It looked terrifying, Ewan.
Because Shirley, are you allowed to ride motorbikes and things because of, you know, your dancing?
I'd love to go on the back of his bike. I've never ridden a bike in my life, and I would be up for riding on the back of a bike.
Up, down, long way round.
Up, down, round, the long way round.
I feel another marriage coming on.
Twiglets at the reception. Now, here's the thing. So you are going back into Star Wars world. There's a...
Yeah.
Is it an Obi-Wan Kenobi spin-off or just a Star Wars spin-off?
Yeah, it's the Obi-Wan Kenobi story, I suppose.
OK.
Yeah.
So so it's you. It's all you.
Well, it's not all me, but it's certainly will be a lot of me, which is good. Well, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
And Shirley's looking forward to it already.
I'm ready.
We start shooting it in March next year. Yeah, we start.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Because I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know you're still a young man, but you're steadily getting closer to Alec Guinness's age in the original stuff. Do you feel you have to be look a bit more like he was in the first Star Wars movies because you're coming up on the outside track and you're catching him up now? Soon you'll be his age.
Yes, totally. I mean, the fun thing about doing them in the first place when I was much younger was trying to imagine Alec Guinness. How would he play these scenes as a younger guy? And it led me to watch a lot of his early work, which I hadn't seen before. Brilliant movies, wonderful films that he'd been in. And I just had such a great time sort of studying him in those movies. There was a great film called The Card that I'd never seen about a rag and bone man who ends up being a sort of mayor of a town or something. So this time, as you say, Frank, I'm much closer in age to him. And it will be my challenge to try and sort of meet him somewhere, you know. I love Alec Guinness. I never got to meet him, but I love him through his work, and it's a great honour to be able to sort of try and pretend to be him a bit younger, you know.
Interestingly, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, your braid that you wore in the first films, it was recently up for auction. Now it does it looks slightly less impressive, not attached to your head. This is how it appeared in the auction catalogue. Now, Good game, good game. Shirley Ballas, how much did that braid of hair go for?
50,000?
OK.
Oh.
How much... no, you can't answer yet. Don't answer yet. Oh, Ashley, what do you think?
Oh, 51,000.
OK. Frank, you are a Star Wars fan. How much would you pay for it?
I am, and I don't want to go lower in case Ewan is deeply offended. I'm going to say 28 grand.
Yeah, I went for 3. No, not $3. 3,000. 3,000. No, that would have been... $3 would have been really rude. No, 3,000.
I was thinking what I would pay.
All right, Ewan McGregor, it's lovely. Thank you for taking time out of your filming to come and talk to us. And
Nice.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Take care. Thanks very much.
Ewan McGregor, everybody! Oh. Well, from one adventure to another, because Frank Skinner has also been on a road trip. Yes, you have. Historical, a slightly less exotic location. It's Boswell and Johnson's Scottish road trip. This is on Tuesdays at 9 on Sky Arts, Freeview Channel 11, and you can catch up on Sky and Now TV.
Can you believe that that looks better than my current hair?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
I look like Noddy Holder on that. It's brilliant.
So, listen, this is a real passion project. This is your baby.
Yeah, well, I love Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson was an 18th century writer. Stay with it. And I love him. He was funny and difficult. And he wrote a dictionary, which is quite a thing to write. I don't know if you've ever tried.
The dictionary.
Yeah. He wrote a massive dictionary. And he had a friend who was Scottish, and Johnson had said lots of negative things about... Even in the dictionary, when it defines oats, it said a food in England given to horses and in Scotland used to support the people. So he was always... He said the finest prospect a Scotsman ever sees is the road to England.
Wow.
So they were a bit unsure about him, but his Scottish friend persuaded him to go. So I went with my Scottish friend, Denise Minor, who is a crime novelist.
I love her.
Yeah.
Have you ever read a Denise Minor book?
I have not.
Do yourself a favour. They're so good.
She's also fantastic company. So we went off on this trip right out to the Western Isles to Iona and places I'd never been past Inverness. I mean, you know, occasionally you get a job when you really would do it for nothing.
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself. I just noticed they're in masks, the audience. that was like waking up in the middle of an operation. No, it was a job man, I just loved the job, you know, and just to be up there. I mean, the first one went out last Tuesday, and it's got, I must say, rave reviews.
Woohoo!
Check it out.
Well, we will, because we've got a clip. This is you and the fabulous Denise Minor in Edinburgh at the start of the Scottish leg of the trip. But you don't do the whole thing, you know.
No, I don't do it all in 18th century dress. That would be... But, you know, I thought it kind of suited me. My whole life I've been looking for my look. And it turns out to be 18th century writer.
Well, and now, here's the thing. Frank Skinner, not content with recreating Samuel Johnson's trip around Scotland, you continue to bring culture to the masses.
Yeah.
You've got a new book. It's a slim volume.
It is a slim volume, but
How to enjoy
books
poetry.
are always too long, don't you think?
No.
Yeah, did you have to do every marriage?
I left a few out.
So this is How to Enjoy Poetry, and this is connected to your podcast.
Yes, I do a podcast, and the second one went out, and then I had 2 book offers come in to write a book about poetry after 2 podcasts. So that was the one, I did the short one. And podcasts are really handy. So you can go on, listen to American podcasts, and they pick... Or I just, you know, go on the internet and find a poet, and it's that, you know, the whole system of people who like this also like.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just do that. And I'm always making discoveries. And they're like little TARDISes, a little poem that big, and you go in and it's massive and there's loads of stuff to unpack in it. I know it sounds like a cheesy thing, but I think it's a life-changing... Listen to the podcast and it will change your life. That is my view.
That's a bold claim. That is, change your life.
I mean, change your life.
Wow. Well, How to Enjoy Poetry is out now, and Boswell and Johnson's Scottish road trip continues on Sky Arts. Talking of road trips, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump made a controversial one this week, leaving hospital while suffering from a deadly virus, to wave at supporters. There he is in the back of his car. I mean, the poor Secret Service guys, they're in like a sweaty, steamy up car there. I mean, and Trump's touching the glass. Is it just me, or does that remind you of the sex scene in Titanic? Paint me like one of your French girls, Donald. Orange.
That's got a bit of Prison Visit about it. The hand against the perspex.
Yeah. And listen, then he got discharged and he huffed and wheezed his way up to the White House balcony. There he is, Covita. Don't cry for me. Don't worry, Donald. No one is. Although if Trump is incapacitated by illness, Vice President Mike Pence takes over. Hey, no flies on him, right? Did you all see this? Yeah. The debate last night. You can tell it was a really good debate when, like, the fly is what people are talking about. And for a while, he looks like he's fallen asleep. Yeah. I don't bet he's probably listening to the debate.
I think he's probably been overpowered by the brain power of the fly.
It's overthinking. But, you know, it is incredible that everyone is talking about that fly. It's amazing how you can become famous overnight just by sitting on the face of a political figure. It's Stormy Daniels! We haven't forgotten you. Yay! Very good. OK, right. I turn, ladies and gentlemen, to Ashley Banjo, because at Diversity, you've got a new touring show. This is exciting. It's connected. It's a live tour. When's it starting?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. It's happening.
It's happening, right? Let's speak it into existence. Kind of end of March next year into June. So we're on the road for, you know, about 3 months, and I literally am so excited about it.
I believe it starts on March the 18th, and then you've already had to add dates. Is this right?
Oh, there are literally more dates than my body can probably currently handle, if I'm being honest. But I'm literally going to get fit for it, going to work for it. And, yeah, I literally just cannot wait more than ever to get back on the road. We're going all over the country.
All right, well, before we talk about it, let's have kind of a taster of the sorts of things that Diversity get up to on tour. Actually, I'm just interested, watching that Dancing with Shirley, can you appreciate that style of dancing? Do you enjoy it?
100%. I mean, I'm a fan of their work anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's clever, I think it's bright, it's intriguing, actually.
Well, Connected is all about the digital age, is this right?
Yeah. Do you know what? It kind of came way before everything that's happened. But for me, Connected was about kind of like the age we live in, the fact that we are all connected through tech and how different this generation is. Like, I look at my little girl and, like, she takes my phone and she swipes, puts on YouTube. I'm like, you're not even 2. Yeah. So it was all about how we're connected, how we use tech. And I feel like now it's kind of just become more relevant than ever. Like, everything that's happened and currently kind of happening just makes it like the perfect thing. So yeah.
And it's one thing putting on a big performance, like we've seen you on TV doing these big set pieces, but to do that, what, like 8 times a week, 6 times a week?
Yeah, like, it's a lot. Like, sometimes it can be 7 times a week, and we're doing 2 shows a day. The shows are, like, 2 hours long. So we do all sorts. Like, we've got touring physios, we get in ice baths, we try and stretch. I mean, it does take its toll on the body. I feel like sometimes we burn, like, up to 7,000, 8,000 calories a day, just doing the shows. Actually,
we've got a clip of you getting into an ice bath. This does...
Oh, really?
Hideous. This is you and Perry. Here we go. And... Let's see. I feel like that's got to be doing more harm than good.
No, to be fair, that was the moment that they hit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see, yeah.
That was that moment.
I think I've seen that video.
A twiglet with an icy dip. But you were nodding there, so you ice baths are a good idea.
I've done ice baths, yes.
You do ice baths, Shirley?
Yes.
Oh, OK, yeah,
and
you know you like them?
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's a bit mental.
You can't like them.
I do.
Really?
It's very refreshing for the body.
And also, women's bodies are different.
Yes, and we're not wusses, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's
true. But at the end, do you know what, you go through stages. It's like pain, and then they say stay in it until you go numb. And once you go numb, you get the benefits, but you have to go through 5 minutes of pain.
I always have one post-poetry.
Oh, do you? You need it.
I put my head in.
You just need it. You need it. And of course, because I was saying to you, I kind of think in my head, diversity have been around, 4 or 5 years. This is 11 years.
Yeah, we're into like 11th year. And obviously we were together for, I don't know, 8 or 9 before that. So we're kind of, 12 years coming up in the spotlight, like since winning Britain's Got Talent. And we've been together like over 20 years. It's crazy. But I still love it, I still love it more so than I did when we
And this year is really special because it's kind of come full circle because now you're a judge on Britain's Got Talent.
That was a moment.
The big final, the big final's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, at 7:30, I think. Yeah, 7:30. Yeah,
exactly. Which I'm super. Honestly, the thought of it because we obviously performed week 1, kind of semi-finals, and I walked in because most of the original guys are still there. We're all still a team, and we walked in and they sort of looked up and they kind of saw like Ashley with the X, and I was like, oh, it's cool. And it was when I looked back and saw their faces, they were like, I remember standing there saying, hi, we're diversity, and I was like, wow, it is a crazy full circle moment 11 years on to be kind of sitting in Simon's chair, yeah.
And you talk about that performance you did in the first episode, and it was this big, powerful, moving performance addressing kind of Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and that stuff. And did anyone kind of say, ooh, some people may not like this? Was there any inkling that this was a risky thing to do? I
mean, we knew full well that people wouldn't like it. But I wasn't quite ready for the amount of people. I wasn't quite ready to, be across national news for 3 weeks with people telling me that it wasn't the time or place, and somehow I ended up being the racist. I don't know how that one works, but all I tried to do was a summary of 2020 and kind of create something that kind of ended up as a moment of hope and coming together, and tried to end positively, and it was like a look back, and somehow it got turned into something that touched a really raw nerve, and I'm glad it did, You
got like 10,000 complaints? Or...
No, 27.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, we were climbing to the most complained about TV moment of the day. I really wanted #1. I felt like I was climbing the chart. I really did, but we got to #2, and then kind of Ofcom ruled that they weren't going to investigate.
Wow.
But, I suppose... Is there any kind of bright sort of silver lining in that, yes, there are 27,000 complaints, but were you kind of, I don't know, encouraged by how strongly Ofcom knocked it back, how ITV supported you?
You know what? It's a moment. I feel like it's genuinely like a moment for race relations in this country. You've got ITV who backed us, and then they, spent a huge amount of money advertising across every national paper with a full-page ad saying we stand by what happened. Ofcom ruled to not investigate, and for me, that's what change looks like. And I think it's really important to sort of say that not everybody that complained about the routine is racist. I think it's a really interesting sort of thing. I think that it made some people uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think it made people feel, oh, I don't want to, see this when I'm eating my fish and chips. But actually, that's why I think it's perfect, because there are a lot of people that just can't turn that stuff off. So I actually thought, you know what? If you can have people talking about climate change and, things that have happened to them in their life, why shouldn't I be able to use 4 minutes to talk about something that's affected me in mine and countless other people? Yeah. So, super proud, and, I think I would never take it back.
No, well done you, yes. Right, it is time to meet our musical guest this evening. Please welcome the one and only Miley Cyrus, everybody!
I came in like a
Wow! Woo! Look at you, Miley Cyrus.
It feels really nice to see humans and talk to everybody and connect with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I wish I could be there with you in person.
And Miley Cyrus, no one can complain that you're lazy. We know you finished an album.
I love that Graham Norton only calls me Miley Cyrus. This is perfect. It's full name always.
So you're doing the album. I know you've made videos. You did the VMAs. You got your Instagram show. And then in the middle of it all, your godmother, Dolly Parton, who was actually... She was on this show last week. And so Dolly Parton, she called you.
She faxed me.
She faxes you?
Yes, she faxes me.
But you don't have a fax machine.
No, so she gets upset when you don't respond, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't even know. Half the people watching your show might not even know what a fax machine is. I know my dad has one in his gym to connect with, because my dad has 2 Blackberries from like 2005, and he says 2 Blackberries equal an iPhone, which is not true. But he's also one of those. And so, yeah, Dolly reached out about doing a Christmas record with her, and only for Dolly Parton do you sing A Christmas Carol in July. But she makes physical records, and so she had to get it turned in, and so I was singing about Christmas in the middle of LA summer, and only for Dolly.
But your own album, we've heard the first track, Midnight Sky, and I know you've recorded this special version just for us. Where did you do this? How did you put this performance together?
So I did want to create something special for you and your show, because I always love being there for you, and I love doing your show so much. And I wanted to create this kind of, again, like a surreal environment. And so I created, it may seem a little egotistical, I created a set that's just a million Mileys, which is a nightmare. And I don't think anyone would want that. But again, we're in this creatively challenging time that I think, because we've had so much time, we've been able to kind of dream and like exercise our imagination in a way, because reality is so off right now. And so I created my dream world, but everyone else's nightmare. So it's just a set with a million me's.
All right, well, listen, we're going to watch it now. Here, performing Midnight Sky, it is Miley Cyrus.
Thank you.
Amazing, Miley Cyrus. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Woo! Miley Cyrus. Gorgeous. Right, that's nearly it. Before we go, just time for a visit to the big red chair. Who's there? Hello, sir.
Hello,
Hi. What's your name?
James.
James. Lovely. And what do you do, James?
I'm a primary teacher.
Lovely. And where are you from, sir?
New Zealand?
Okay. And but you're planning to spend your life here?
No, me and my partner are on a 2-year visa, so we have to leave in a year.
Oh, okay. What a great year to choose. London, the theatre, the museums. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, I'll never forget it. I think, can I just say, I think you should be able to reapply for some of that visa. You should get like 6-8 months back on that visa.
Yeah, we arrived last August, so we're kind of hoping to stay a bit longer, but it's not looking good.
Okay, off you go with your story.
So mine's a teaching story. It was when I was back in New Zealand. In the middle of winter, I showed up at work about 7:30, and there was a smell at my desk, so I had to look around, and I couldn't see anything, and I looked in the bin next door to my desk, and it should have been empty because the cleaners clean it, every night before.
Yes.
But there was a layer of tissues along the top of it.
Yes.
So I just gave it like a little kick with my foot, and it sort of tilted over, and underneath the tissues, I noticed that someone had snuck in and shat in.
Oh, no. We had to be sure. We had to be sure. There's a lot of questions in that story, aren't there? Mostly about New Zealand.
You've made his year in this country a little bit better. Yeah. Didn't get to the end of his fabulous anecdote.
We did one thing. Oh, we have another one. There's another one. Hello.
Hello, Graham.
Hi. What's your name, sir?
Jack.
Jack. And where are you from, Jack?
I'm from Ireland.
Okay, which bit?
Cavan.
Cavan. Lovely. And are you on holidays, or...?
I live in North London.
Okay, and what do you do?
I'm a doctor, but I don't work in clinical medicine anymore, so I design trials for healthcare technology is the shortest way to describe it.
Okay, thank you for sparing us that. Already, my hopes are up for his story, because he knew we weren't interested. He thought, doctor, that'll do. Sorry, Jack, we got distracted. Okay, Jack from Cavan, Dr. Jack from Cavan, off you go with your story.
Okay, so it's not a medical story. I was in Paris a couple of years ago with some friends for a music festival, and we had rented out an Airbnb in the middle of Paris. And we arrived there, it was this like absolutely amazing multi-level loft Airbnb that the master bedroom had a glass roof, and the glass roof looked onto the kitchen. So if you're sitting at the kitchen table, you could see down into the master bedroom. It also had like a basement cinema with like furry walls, and then the shelves of the place were just covered in all of this mad stuff. Like there was like hardback pornography magazines, which I'd never seen before. And then one of the other things they had was like an old, like 19th century handgun or pistol. It was very odd. But
this story could go anywhere. This story could go anywhere.
Bear with me. And we had a very big weekend in Paris, great time at the music festival, and then...
All right, Dr. Jack.
Going to the airport hungover on the last day and thought I'd gotten away with nothing going terribly wrong, and going through security, my hand luggage is going through, and then all of a sudden there's a swarm of security coming around me, and they're like, "Sir, you," in a French accent, obviously, "Monsieur, you have a handgun in your bag?" And I was like, "What?" It must have ended up in my bag, or one of my friends threw it in my hand luggage. When we were drunk or something, and I had no idea it was there. But they just bundled me into a side room, and I got questioned for about a half an hour, and they realised it was just an idiot, basically, who was hungover. And I probably couldn't operate a 19th century handgun anyway, so they thankfully let me go.
Well, it wasn't shit, it wasn't, but I'm still going to flip you, Jack. I am. It was good.
You'd think they'd have accepted that, wouldn't you?
There was a lot of description of the flat for very little results, I felt. Yeah. We didn't really need to know that you could see into the bedroom from the kitchen. I thought that point might be salient later on.
I think he was just setting the scene for a 19th century handgun.
Oh, okay.
It had a kind of an estate agent approach to the story.
OK, that really is all we've got time for. If you'd like to have a go at the red chair yourself and tell your story, you can contact us via our website at this very address. Please, a huge thank you to all of my guests tonight. Ashley Banjo, Ewan McGregor, Frank Skinner, Shirley Ballas, and Miley Cyrus. Join me next week with Mercury Prize winner Michael Kiwanuka, cricket star Freddie Flintoff, comedian Dawn French, football manager Arsene Wenger, and Hollywood great Samuel L. Jackson. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.